Sci-Fi movie nerds, and welcome to my Rebels review. So this is going to be a review of Season 3, Episode 1, Steps into Shawdow. We just got the hour-long episode, and it was really great. So I'm going to kind of go play-by-play. So just for everybody out there, spoiler alert, there's going to be lots of spoilers in this. If you haven't watched the episode yet, click pause, go watch the episode, and then come back, and I'm going to tell you some of my thoughts on it. I've made some notes over here, so I'm just going to be using those. But let's start out right away with the mission. So they started out on one of these missions, really key to save Hondo. And Ezra seems to be in charge of the mission. We don't know why yet, but that comes a little bit later. And you can see that Ezra is not used to being a leader. And he's making rash decisions, and it shows the youth of Ezra. And I like that because I didn't want to start out Season 3 with Ezra being really great at being a leader or, taking Kanan's place as the Jedi. And we didn't see that, and I'm happy about that because I want to see the progression of Ezra growing. Whereas I didn't get to see that with Anakin Skywalker in the prequels. It was like he was a little kid, then all of a sudden he was a Padawan in the Clone Wars, and his progression to the dark side was way too fast for me. All of a sudden, one minute he's, a Padawan, the next minute he's killing younglings. And if they do that with Ezra and make it too quick, I'm going to be very disappointed. So now we have Ezra on the mission, and you can see he's grown in the Force quite a bit because he actually takes control of the AT-AT driver with the Force and makes him turn on his own people. And this shows that he has made a lot of progression since Season 2. And then they even allude to it when they say, when did Kanan teach you that? And he's like, he didn't. So that was really great. Then we see why he's learning this, because he's playing with the Sith holocron in his room. And then Kanan comes in and wants to talk to him, and he's trying to hide the holocron, but he doesn't. And finally Kanan finds the holocron and takes it, which I thought was a little strange that Ezra's all of a sudden just going to give up this holocron because he's so attached to it. You can tell he's attached to it, and he wants to learn more because he asked the holocron for more power to save his friends. But we'll get to more about the holocron a little later. So then we go, they're looking at stealing the Y-Wing bombers from Reclam Station, which is a great mission to start off the season. And then they promote Ezra to Lieutenant Commander. And I see a little plot hole here because I don't think with how young he is, just because he did okay on the last mission, they're going to make him in charge of a group. I think Hera would be a better leader. Zeb, he was a general in the army. So, you know what? Yes, he's a Jedi, but he's still a Padawan. And they should see that he's probably not ready to command a fleet or, a cell. But you know what? They're furthering the story. And I don't want you to get the notion that I didn't like this episode, because I did like it. But you know what? If I had to rate this episode, I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10 because it was missing a few things for me. The one thing that it was missing is Kanan in the whole first part of it. And I guess that was some suspense because we want to find out what Kanan was up to. But I would have preferred if they started with the Kanan part of it, where he's having doubts about himself because he's blind. I think that would have been a better opening sequence. So then we go into Kanan is communicating with someone through the Force. And we'll get into that little story arc where he goes out and he finds Bendu. And Bendu is a Force user, but he doesn't use the light side, he doesn't use the dark side, he's right in the middle. So I think this guy is almost a trickster, maybe like Loki a little bit, because he watches both sides and he plays them against each other, and he's kind of just the guy that sits back and goes, okay, let's see what happens with the chaos. I'm getting the feeling that that's what he's going to be for season 3. But I wonder why, after he teaches Kanan how to see through the Force, why would Kanan just give him that Sith holocron? Because that's a pretty dangerous piece of real estate, and he doesn't know for sure. He knows Darth Vader's still alive, and Vader would want that holocron. So why wouldn't he guard it more? Why would he just leave it with the Bendu? I think that was a plot hole, and obviously it's going to further the story a little later on, probably in episode 2, 3, 4, or 5. Because my guess is that episode or the trailer we saw for season 3 probably has no more than the first 3 or 4 episodes in it. They're not going to give away anything else, just a little bits and pieces of the first 3 episodes. So, giving away the Sith holocron, I just don't see that Kanan would have done that, and I think Ezra would have fought harder to keep it from Kanan. So then we get Grand Admiral Thrawn, and I love this character. I love Lars Mikkelsen, who's voicing him. He is not your regular admiral. He is very thoughtful. He has a strategy. You see this at the end when he orders them to let them go. Obviously, what he's doing is he wants to track them back to the bigger rebellion, because his goal is to end the bigger rebellion, which I'm now hoping that we might see Thrawn or hear Thrawn over the speaker in Rogue One. And maybe this season is going to lead us up to Rogue One, where we'll see a bigger tie-in. And I'm really hoping that's how this goes, because, we know that the rebellion takes a pretty big hit in Rogue One, and they have a lot of losses to get the plans to the Death Star. So let's hope Rebels ties that in really nicely right before the movie. We also have, when Ezra goes on the second mission, he is being bossy. He's not leading by example. He's just commanding respect when he hasn't earned it yet. And that is a very much a dark side thing. Again, I see the similarities between Anakin and Ezra. Ezra's a little bit whiny, like Anakin was in the Clone Wars. Not the Clone Wars, the animated series, but the Clone Wars, the movie. And, those kind of parallels, I think, is what they're probably going for, because that's really the only person we've ever seen turn to the dark side is Anakin. So for that, it's okay. Again, I like this episode. Please don't think that I didn't, because I've been waiting for this for a long time. So I'm just giving you my views of different things in the episode. What I really liked was the way that Kanan's progression happened. And I love the scene with the spiders and how the Bendu is teaching him how to see through the Force. That was probably my favorite part of this episode. If you watched before Rebels started, they had a little 2-minute the art attack. And it was really cool. I'm not going to say anything about it, but go back and watch it just right before Rebels. It's called The Art Attack. And it was really cool with Sabine, and she was painting on a TIE fighter. But I did like the way they did that before the episode started. And then at the end, I didn't like how all of a sudden everything's okay between Kanan and Ezra. Yes, Kanan went and saved him, but I still think that they should have shown a little bit of animosity at the end. I think it would have left it on a better note if Kanan was walking away and then you see Ezra a little bit mad that he's deceiving Kanan, saying everything's okay. But it looked like they were best pals again. And I really don't see Ezra having the stuff that he had learned from the Sith holocron leaving him that fast. And, I'm back to the light side. And again, I've heard a lot of people on the internet say that they think Ezra is going to make the half a leap to the dark side and then come back and be redeemed. I'm not so sure. I think Rebels may take Ezra all the way to the dark side. And I think we may even have Ezra killing Kanan, or Kanan having to kill Ezra for the series finale. But you know what? That's why we talk Star Wars. We throw out our theories. I'd love to hear your theories in the comments section about what you thought of season 1 of, Episode 1 of Season 3 of Star Wars Rebels. Please let me know. You can send me an email, movieguysci-fi@gmail.com, or you can follow me on Twitter @movieguysci-fi. So again, I give this episode a 7 out of 10. It had some really great moments, had a few convenient moments, but all in all, a really great start to the season. So thanks everybody for watching, and remember, nerds rule the world.